Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Day Preview. I'm Davis Johnson alongside Chris Burton. Chris, are you ready for Purdue week?
I can't wait. My brother goes to Purdue, so this is a very exciting week for me.
Yeah, the Cats are 3-0. They're off to a great start this year, so we'll see if we can keep that going. But it's only been 3 games, but the Northwestern pass defense is 22nd in the nation, only allowing less than 200 yards per game. But on the flip side, Purdue's offense is ranked 15th in the nation in pass offense. So over 300 yards per game for the Purdue offense through the air. How does Northwestern contain the passing attack and wide receivers David Bell, who has over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns through 2 games, even potentially Rondale Moore, who may be making his return this week?
Yeah, man. I mean, you said it. David Bell and Rondale Moore, those are two of the scariest wide receivers in football right now. Now, Rondale Moore, I've heard, is still up in the air for this week, so we may see this electric guy back on the field this weekend. We may not. But I want to talk about David Bell a little bit because this guy is coming off Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. He's got 243 receiving yards in 2 games this year. And you watch him play, and nobody touches this guy. Like, he gets the most separation out of any wide receiver I've seen in college football in a long time. So for Northwestern, I think this game is going to hinge on the pass rush. Their QB, Aiden O'Connell, is not great under pressure. He makes some errant throws if you can get to him. And so I think for what you're going to see this weekend, guys like Joe Spivak, Ernest Brown, that defensive line, everything's going to hinge on them getting to Aiden O'Connell. It'll give Bell less time to get separation, which then in turn will make that passing attack less effective. Now, defensive coordinator Mike Hankwitz, doesn't like to send too much pressure often. He usually relies on those 4 guys to get it done. What I think you could see this weekend is him start to send 1 or 2 more guys to hurry up O'Connell and get that ball out quickly.
Yeah, it would definitely be a challenge for the Northwestern secondary this week, probably the most potent passing attack they've faced all year to this point. But on the flip side, Purdue is 97th in total defense through 2 games, allowing over 466 yards per game. So how can an improving Northwestern offense exploit Purdue on that side of the ball?
Davis, the one thing I've been most impressed by with the Northwestern offense thus far is the variety. It's a far cry from the run it up the middle through the tackles and quick slants offense that we've seen for the past 3-4 years. You're seeing a lot more Peyton Ramsey taking mid-range shots. We're seeing some reverses, some trickery in the backfield. And so I think really what it's going to come down to in this game is multifaceted ground game. Offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian really likes to get Isaiah Bowser and those backup running backs involved. Bowser is back this week. He's leading the depth chart, so expect to see a heavy dose of him, see some Drake Anderson as well. But the best thing Northwestern can do is this game is eat clock and take the ball out of Aiden O'Connell's hands. They want to keep it on the ground. They're going to want to run that clock down and have some long drives so that they can maintain ball control. And I think that's the best path to victory for them.
Yeah, in research about Purdue, the weakness of the Purdue defense I've seen is that they've struggled with big physical running backs like Isaiah Bowser. So that may play into Northwestern's hands. Before we get to a score prediction, I just want to touch on this interesting stat and amazing stat, quite frankly. The Northwestern defense has not allowed a single point in the second half of games so far this year. So how have they been able to do this, and who gets the most credit for that?
Yeah, Davis, I'll take your stat and raise you one more. The Northwestern defense, the 3 touchdowns they've given up this season have come after turnovers, and 2 of those turnovers have been returned inside Northwestern's 10-yard line. So what you're seeing here is the epitome of a bend, don't break defense. You know what else has helped Northwestern through these 3 games? Takeaways. They've got 8 interceptions through these 3 games, and obviously the credit for that rests mostly on defensive backs like J.R. Pace and Brandon Joseph. They are absolute ball hawks out there. But I think in terms of the overall credit for how this defense has been so successful, I'm going to put it with the linebackers. Now, it's tough to give a defensive position credit because defense is such a team effort. But these three linebackers, Chris Bergen, Blake Gallagher, and Patty Fisher, they have been leading the charge in all three games this year. They each linebacker leads the team in tackles, and each is more than 10 tackles above the next leading tackler. So this linebacker core has really been stopping opponents' drives, and I think the credit for what Northwestern's been able to do in the second half and what they've been able to do defensively in general, I think starts and ends with that group.
Yeah, I don't think you could find a more solid linebacker group in the Big Ten or perhaps the entire country with guys like Chris Bergen, Blake Gallagher, and Patty Fisher. So before last question here, finally, what's the score prediction for Northwestern and Purdue this week, and what would it mean for the Cats division title hopes?
Yeah, I mean, this game opened up as Purdue as a 2-point favorite. The line has now moved to Northwestern -3. I'm going to say Northwestern covers the spread and wins 27-23 on the road in West Lafayette. And that's a great question about what this win means going forward as a program for Northwestern. Basically, what it would mean, it would let Northwestern control their own destiny. You know, they have Wisconsin coming in next week, and a win against Purdue and a win against Wisconsin would put them squarely in the driver's seat of the Big Ten West, which is something we definitely didn't see last year, but got a taste of 2 years ago. So a win here it's hard to understate how big a win against this Purdue team would be. It would effectively take one competitor of two others. Purdue and Wisconsin are the teams I'm referencing. It would take one of those competitors out of the mix for Big Ten West champions.
And there you have it. So Chris Burton is predicting another win for Northwestern, starting 4-0 in the year, looking to make it 2 out of the last 3 years where the Cats win a division title, something they don't do very often, but that would be a great feat. So that'll do it for us here in Game Day Preview. I'm Davis Johnson speaking for Chris Burton. Thank you for watching, and go Cats.